So yeah. So once again, like I would like to welcome you as part of this campaign. Like we've spoken before, and you've come again, to be part of this small initiative that I've taken. So thank you so much, Jyoti. And it's lovely to talk to you over and over again. Like even on Instagram, like very spontaneous, I would say, very approachable. Like whenever I drop you a text, you at least make sure that you at least reply me over email, or at least respond to my message even though you're busy. So it means that
Thanks.
because we all have a busy schedule and a different times in
Yeah.
again, but despite of that, we respect each other, maybe through an idea that connects us both. Like you
Yes.
are also taking few steps, or you're doing what you can from your capability or from your stand, whatever you
Yes.
can, for the society, just giving back to it. So that's what even I'm trying to do here. So as you know, like this is just a small initiative. I'm not taking it on a very large scale. So I'm doing it as part of, because I think that, if I'm good with people, and as I told you, I was part of this paper with writer community, and I used to listen to people's poetry and their writing stuff. So then I thought, why not use this capability or my caliber for a greater cause? Wherein I can,
Yes.
because there can be anybody who can, take those live sessions and listen to poetry, but not everyone is good at listening, and not everyone is, good at empathizing with people.
Yeah.
So, when I started talking to you guys, I realized that, that little bit of what can I say? I felt that I had that in me, and I thought that maybe I can take this up. So let's see how it goes. So here we
Okay.
are with you, and I would like to, ask you again, since you had already share your story with me earlier, but then would you like to please, share it again with us?
Yeah, okay, of course, Sam. Well, thank you first of all for having me on with you as well. I know that you've been working hard to sort of bring together sort of like-minded people who have gone through similar challenges. So thank you for bringing me on. So I'm Joti Gata, known as Positively Diverse on Instagram, and my journey started when I was 21 years old,
Mhm.
and I was diagnosed with vitiligo, an autoimmune condition that affects 1 to 3% of the world's population.
Yeah.
Coming from an Indian background, it was 20 years ago. This was a very difficult thing to deal with. And
Mhm.
many people sort of say, well, you know, you're brought up in a Western country, so really those sort of things wouldn't really matter because, you know, you've adapted to Western lifestyles, and people surely don't hold those kind of views backwards views any longer. Well, actually, that's quite the opposite.
Mhm.
Um, so my parents came to the UK and in the 60s, late 60s, and both of them came here to study. And at the time that they arrived, you know, that was the time really that there were signs on doors saying no blacks, no dogs, you know, there was a lot of racism, a lot of discrimination, and my dad wore a turban, you know, there was a lot of discrimination. So I would say they had it tough, you know, they had it really tough. Um, and to hear their stories and what they were going through was really kind of something that I grew up with, understanding, being empathetic to people's differences, because my dad wore a turban, and you know, we had to sort of deal with people's stares, you know, from quite a young age when we noticed people looking at our dad. So anyway, all these sorts of things were things I grew up with, but I actually grew up with quite a nice, you know, humble background. And when I was diagnosed with vitiligo, um, the community and relatives and family, I thought, would not accept this, because even here in the UK, you know, there's very much this sort of pretense that people live under. So
Mhm.
families live under a pretense that, you know, let's portray happiness, let's portray our daughter's got a good education, she's got this, she lives in this house, she's got, you know, it's all about portraying what people want to see.
Mhm.
And I thought that if my family, extended family, saw this vitiligo, it would ruin my parents' reputation, you know. And quite often when I talk about vitiligo, I talk about it from a Western perspective, from an English
Mhm.
perspective, but I'm now talking about it from an Indian perspective.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm talking about it from an Indian background, because I'm Sikh, I'm British born, British born, but I'm an Indian girl who has, you know, her values core to her heart. And, you know, I think that was a really big barrier for me. When you know that your family are going to judge you, you know, based on how you look and that kind of thing. I didn't want my parents to have to deal with that. So I covered up. It was easier for me to cover up. And I covered up for about 20 years.
20 years. That's long. I mean, so like, how was your, like your parents were not at all aware about your skin condition, or did they like encourage you to, not cover up yourself, or were they very supportive towards that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My family was so supportive. Like, I was so determined to cure my skin. So I did so many treatments. And they supported me and took me and paid for like these treatments, and, you know, took me here and there and everywhere to find out, you know, what could be done to get rid of this vitiligo. But, you know, at the end of the day, they're my parents, but they never quite understood this journey because I was the one living with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I was very fortunate. I mean, I had the support, you know, I had the understanding, I had that emotional support, but I never really had that kind of support where I thought that someone really deep down profoundly understood what I was going through, because they weren't going through it.
Yes.
And it wasn't their fault. You know, you can't expect people to understand your journey if they're not going through it themselves. Like, it's
Yeah. So, I mean, as you said, like your parents has really been supportive. And I remember when we were speaking, you had shown me the photograph of your wedding, and there you were. You told me like you had covered up your entire body, with
yeah,
makeup and stuff. And now you have changed as a person, wherein even in your school, like you are into this teaching profession. So your students have seen you as somebody or a teacher who used to, put on makeup, try to look good, try to cover up, and now they're seeing you without makeup, or confident, or living up to, whatever beliefs that you have, or feeling really comfortable in your own skin. So I think that, there are a lot of people, like, even if we don't appreciate somebody, even during our school days, they were not all the teachers that we used to really like. They were always our favorites. But then silently, I mean, deep down, I would say that each teacher in a student's life has an importance. Like, it's actually, it's few have habits or few behavior that we pick up when we are small children, and it brings a really great impact on us. Like, I remember of my missionary school days when I was in Sikkim. I was born and brought up there. So I remember my principal, she was really brutal, she was really cruel, because she used to give us punishments like very old days, and she was very strict. But one thing she taught us was discipline. Like, even in the worst case, like, we used to fear, like, even making a mistake or failing in Bible subject was like a threat. Like, what is she gonna do next? Is she
yeah,
gonna ask us
yeah,
to, take a 2 round of the entire school over? So I think that even if we did not like her, but she has a great impact. Even now, I remember her. Just imagine, like, I wish I could go back to my school days. So, tell me, Jyoti, like, as a teacher, what's the difference that you see, not just in you, but also in your student, like
yeah.
the person that you were before and the person that you've become now? What is the difference that you see in your student?
I started, I've been teaching for 16 years now, and I'm slowly sort of transitioning out of this career to go into sort of like media and presenting. So, you know, I'm coming to the end of my road with my teaching career, but it's something that's played a huge part in my life, because, you know, not being someone on Instagram and social media and collaborating with people and talking to people and being a role model, that's one thing. But actually working with young people today, being with them on a day-to-day basis and supporting them is an unbelievable feeling, you know. So, I mean, I started my current school in 2012, and I've been there, you know, ever since then, since 2012. When I started that school, I had 90% pigmented because I was on steroid treatment before that. So I was practically 90% brown again.
Okay.
And then my vitiligo started coming back. So when I joined that school, I didn't really have to wear that much makeup because I didn't have that much vitiligo to cover. But between 2012 and 2014, it started coming back quite quickly, quite aggressively again. And then I realized, you know, like, it's really hard to cover up, but I kept doing that. I kept covering up. It was only until 2016 that I stepped out of my comfort zone. There were a few things that happened in my life and I stepped out of my comfort zone. And in 2016 was when I decided I cannot carry on going to school or going to work wearing a full face of makeup. Because one, it's just time consuming. I get up at 6 a.m. to be at school for like 6:45. And then I'm getting up earlier to do my makeup, and it was just too much. And then secondly, it was spreading extensively that I was finding it hard to even cover up. So even when I was covering up with these products, you could see the vitiligo. And then, you know, I just decided one day, right, that's it. I'm going to go into school without my makeup. And I did that. And actually, funnily enough, no one really responded the way I thought they would respond. And that happened just shortly after a documentary that I did for TV over here. So the whole school knew I took part in that documentary. They'd seen it. It was about vitiligo. So I think it was like they already kind of knew a little bit about it. So the documentary, that kind of took half my pressure off explaining what it was. You know, it was aired on BBC One. And when they saw it, they kind of answered a lot of questions. So when I went into school, I thought, oh, I went on TV, you know, with my arms showing. I still wore makeup. And I thought, this is the next step, to go into school without my makeup. So I did it. And because I didn't get the response I was expecting, I was like, oh, they're not really bothered by this. They're not bothered by a teacher's vitiligo. They're really not bothered. And then that's when lots of things started coming out of the woodwork. So in response to your question, I was then asked to deliver lots of inspiring assemblies, motivational talks to all the year groups. And I did that in 2016 to 2018. I did like motivational talks for every single year group, from the young girls from 11 to the sixth form students that are 17 and 18 before university. And I did these motivational talks, and it was empowering. Sam, it was the best experience ever. Honestly, just being able to talk about what I went through, but knowing that each and every student carries this weight of how they look like, and their body image is so important to them, but bringing it to their attention that, you know, it's so important to be you.
Yes.
And since I did these assemblies, I mean, I got so much feedback from staff, from colleagues, students emailing me, like, you know, messaging me, miss, you're okay to me. You know, you make me feel like it's okay to be me. And I've posted some of these messages on my Instagram. There are a couple of messages I posted that really touch me. A student reached out and said, you know, miss, I just feel like I can be myself. Because you've talked about this, you've brought attention, you know, you've made this normal, you've normalized that it's okay to be unique, it's okay to be yourself.
That is so profound. And I think such examples is very important in our society, because, you know, these days, I would say things were there earlier as well, but now that we have more exposure to social media and social platform, we need such examples. Like you said, that empowering, that feeling, you know, you cannot express to somebody the happiness that you feel inside when you give a speech or when you talk about something. Yes. Am I breaking?
Could you pause it, please?
Thank you. All right. So my next question to you would be like, who played the most important role in your transition? Like, you know, from you being, you know, you're hiding yourself and not accepting your skin condition, or, you know, trying to get rid of it. And now that you have accepted yourself, you're very comfortable in what you are. So I know that, you know, we as an individual need to come out of it. Like nobody can do that. What a person themselves, they can, take themselves out of any shit or any issues or any circumstances that they get surrounded with, no matter how many people come and comfort them or try to motivate them, but at the end of the road they are the one who need to step up. But yes, there are people in our lives who play a major role, or maybe not people, I would say. There are a lot of things or instances that can play a major role. So, what's your, in your story or in your life, which is that person, or what is that thing that helped you in this transition?
My mindset.
Wow. And
My
is it
mindset.
like
It's not a person.
you developed that mindset over the years, like when you came across different scenarios or people seeing their perspective, what mindset, what made that change in your mindset?
Yeah, yeah. It was all about loss and grief. So I lost someone really close to me in my life, and I realized that life was really short, and I didn't want to carry on living hiding my vitiligo. And that I realized, I have the use of my limbs and my arms, and I can, move, and I can accomplish everything I want to. And I don't want to carry on living like this because I'm scared of what other people are going to say. And I don't want to live worried about how people are perceiving me. I just want to be me, whether they like it or not. So the school environment supported me, because when I realized I did it in a school environment where students can be the most malicious, vicious when it comes to words,
Yeah.
when I realized that I was safe there, I thought, if I can handle this environment of school kids, now what am I worried about? And that experience of exposing my skin in a school environment, together with understanding that I didn't want to live and suppress myself any longer, was a combination of both,
Yes.
shifted that mindset from thinking how I used to think.
Yes. Yes. and
It was
and
gradual. It was gradual, and it was very slow. It didn't happen overnight.
Yeah, it definitely wouldn't. And I completely agree with this thought process, because even for a person to, take that courage, it doesn't just come overnight. I mean, you are scared as hell at one point, and then, you try to understand the situation instead of, having that fear in your mind that I cannot do this or I cannot overcome this. At time, as time gradually passes off, you tend to realize that nothing in my life or nothing, not even a single problem is not big enough, or not, I cannot be a person who can be put down by a situation or by a problem or by anybody. I can be bigger than, even a mountain, or if I make myself, capable enough to handle anything in my life, I can actually. And nobody
Yeah.
has to tell me that you can. I need to understand that.
Yes.
So also one more thing here, like we even I have faced the situation as in, I thought that my parents would not understand my mindset, or me doing this, leaving my job and then doing this, they would not understand that. But one thing that I did not realize is, as I was growing, as my mindset was growing, their mindset was growing too, though they do not share it often, like they just try to cope up with the technology and stuff, but they too are growing. Like my dad 10 years ago, that kind of mindset that he has, he doesn't have the same mindset right now. If I
Yeah.
go back and if I would have gone up to my dad and I would have told him that, this is the thing that I want to do, I don't want to do my job, IT job, he would have rejected. He would have actually, I don't know what he would have done. But that's just that thought, that in my mind, my dad was still that 10 years back old person whom I used to fear. Like, not fear, I would, out of respect, I never used to be so much comfortable in sharing things or my mindset like openly. But then now, when I, before leaving my home, I just sat with him and I told him all the stuff that I wanted to do, everything that I want to achieve. And I said that I want to start from scratch. And I said that I know I can do it. And then, you just have to believe in me because I believe in
Yeah.
you. And I
Yeah.
thought that he would give me some different reaction, tell me like, no, don't do this and stuff. But then he supported me. He told me that I know that you have the courage. I know you so well that I'm telling that you can do it. Don't have a single doubt in your mind that you cannot. So that feeling, Jyoti, I mean, it was so empowering for me because he's somebody that I have been looking up to my entire life.
Yeah.
And somebody who has given me the strength because I've
Yeah.
seen him struggle. I've seen him as a man who never gives up. And I wanted to become like him.
Yes.
Somebody who never puts down their effort and says, no, I cannot do this. I would be, no matter what comes on my way, I would never say no to it. I would at least give it a try. It's okay if I fail in it, it's okay, but I wouldn't, just leave it as it is without even trying. So I'm really proud, being in India, being in a society where my
Amazing.
relatives have
Yeah.
children and they live a life like a cage, and I'm free to do anything.
Yeah.
And
That's it's liberating, isn't it?
right, being an Indian girl, you can relate to it. Like you are living in a Western side of
Yeah.
the world, but being in India, you know how the mindset of people are here, right?
Yeah.
Especially parents. And for a
Yes.
girl to make her place in the society like this is really difficult. Like
Yeah.
you are actually, being outspoken or speaking for yourself is actually a taboo. It's being called you're not.
Supposed to be submissive.
Yes, yes. So, have you ever been to India, or it's like, have you ever faced this Indian culture or this Indian mindset? I mean, I'm not talking about your parents, but at least your relatives. Like, has there been a situation where it has really impacted you because of the people that you were surrounded with, especially somebody that you care about, and they have put you in a very difficult spot because of what you're suffering or what you have a skin condition. Have you ever been through this?
No,
Mm-hmm.
the extended family have made comments
Mm-hmm.
about my skin, and some comments have come out like, or maybe it's something she ate or her mum cooked,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe it was because her parents were working a lot and they didn't have time for her, like really ridiculous theories and things that kind of came back to me
Mm-hmm.
all of this time on, about why they think that I got vitiligo, because I know people about time, and now I'm doing all these projects, no one's really sort of saying anything. It's almost like they don't know what to say.
Yeah, I can feel that.
But people did talk, and it wasn't so much saying it in my face, it was
Mm-hmm.
saying it behind my back and then hearing
Yeah,
about it through my
yeah.
parents, or hearing about it so many years on that a cousin will tell me, oh, do you know this auntie said that about your skin. One of my cousins even said that her mum didn't have a clue about what vitiligo was and had made some inappropriate comments about my skin, and she told me that openly, that that she's educating her mum about all the things I'm doing, because she found that even her mum didn't understand what the condition was.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think that I never I heard things through comments from other people and through family members that came back to me.
And that's really, disturbing, I would say. And,
Yeah.
my relatives are like, they do not talk to me because the decision that I've started taking in my life, my parents has been supportive no matter I had to fight for it with them. There were, times where they did not talk to me for a day or two, but at the end of the day, they understood, like, they respected my feelings or my decision, whatever I've taken. But relatives, I would tell you, oh my God, I mean, Indian relatives can be really painful, I would say. And they would not tell you on my face. And I have a younger sister. She's just 2 years younger to me, and I did not wanted to get married. And my dad had a proposal for her, and right, like the elder one should get married first, and then the younger one.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I was
Yeah.
so stubborn. I was like, no, I don't want to get into this because I didn't want to do it. I didn't feel it right for me. So then my dad was like, okay, fine. Then I don't know when you are going to get married and I'm not going to force things on you, but I have a proposal for her. I would, want to get it started. So I was like, yeah, I'm okay with it. I don't have any problem. But then I went to the marriage and everything got over. We were just sitting around, after she went to her in law's place. My aunt tells me that, why don't you get married? And I tell her that my dad is right here. He's the one to take decision. You are no one to interfere in our, family
Didn't
matters.
like it. She didn't like it, I bet.
Yeah, she did not. She did not answer me back, and she's elder to me. And I tell everyone in my family, respect comes out of, if you want respect from from my end, you should respect me too. I cannot stand somebody, no matter how young or how elderly person that the person is. I cannot tolerate somebody talking shit on my face, and I'm just supposed to stand there and listen to them.
Yeah.
That's not gonna happen.
No, it's really important, because I think the older generation, but it's understanding that older generation, they're from a different background, different mentality, and that came normal to them. Marriage, getting married, first one getting married, second one, it was all normal. Things are changing, times are changing, we're moving forward, and things are moving differently.
Exactly.
And so when, and I don't even actually think it's their fault for thinking that way, because that's how they grew up, that's their way of thinking. And even though I live here in the UK, this is how the majority of my relatives think. There's no difference in mentality there with the older generation here and back home.
Yeah.
And I really believe that it comes down to how their upbringing was and what they feel is, right for them.
Right.
And therefore, they don't mean to impose it. They just want the best for us.
Mhm.
I really do believe it. But what they don't realize is that that's not what we classify as wanting for ourselves.
Exactly.
So I don't always, I mean, I used to find it very negative before. I used to find comments very negative. Oh my God, it's none of her business and this and this. But now I just think, you know what? That's their mentality. That's how they grew up. That's the way they used to think. It
Yeah.
was all about what was perceived on the outside, looking good from the outside, having that nice house, having that nice car, looking all perfect for a wedding, wearing your lenga the right way, makeup done, hair done, lashes, everything perfect, walking perfect, talking perfect, walking, if you're with your husband, you've got your daughter, your son's coming along next. It's all about fitting into that mold. And it happens here, you know.
Yeah.
And once people start accepting that, we're advancing, we're moving forward, and, it's okay to do things slightly differently. It's okay to get married at 40. I know many people that got married at 40. It's okay to have a skin difference and live with it comfortably and go out and not cover up, because society is slowly changing. I do believe society is
Yes.
slowly changing.
It is. And I strongly believe in that as well. And I think the most important thing that is there right now is that the change is starting from each of us. Individually, we are taking it positively. Because,
Mm-hmm.
if we talk about like, just 5 years back, I would say that if something was really bothering us, we would actually be very much dependent upon the opinion of other people, like, what other people would think about it or what other people are doing, to achieve this thing. We used to just look one way and, do not try to look like there can be another approach to this. We never had that, difference in perspective, I would say. But right now, I think this generation, or the time that we are living in right now, there are a lot of possibilities that we see. There are a lot
Yeah,
of things around us which motivates us and also give us an opportunity to, upbring ourselves. And we do not depend on somebody, maybe that person is going to start over with a change and then I'm going to believe, yeah, this is possible. But then right now, I think in our generation, we start to do things. Why not me? I become the person to start that change first. Why should I wait for somebody else to, give an example or start off something, and then maybe I think, oh, that wasn't tough enough, maybe that person did it, I can too. But I think nowadays, as you started off, right, that mindset change of mindset is happening very rapidly, I would say. Things are moving in very fast pace, and so is the mindset of people. And I think maybe not 50% of the entire generation, but at least I would say 30 to 40% are moving towards a positive direction. And that is very important, I would say, because we can get, a very high tech level society, or maybe 2025 is going to be very hi-fi. But what about the people mindset? If people are very corrupted over here, if they don't have the right way to look at things, society is not going to change.
Absolutely.
right? So we need people
Absolutely.
like teaching profession, like we need people like you in even in the media, even in the cinemas, everywhere. We need people, as an example, who are not an image of perfection.
Yeah.
We need somebody to imperfect so that we can relate to them. We don't want ourselves to look like Angelina Jolie or Aishwarya Rai, because we are not. We cannot
No,
be.
because the thing is, it's, yes, Sam, and do you know what? It's creating a lot of pressure on people,
Yeah,
adults, teenagers, children, girls, boys. It's creating that pressure that they need to look that way. And
exactly.
that's what I've learned about my students. That's what I've learned, that it's not just affecting adults, it's affecting our young children. I've got a daughter who's 10 now.
Hmm.
And I always think, if I was the mum who covered up my skin, what am I projecting to her? My
Exactly.
son's 8. If I'm covering up my skin and he grows up one day and he meets a girl who's just so insecure, like, what am I projecting to him? What am I showing him that is acceptable and normal to a boy?
Yes.
I'm showing him that I'm a confident mum who doesn't care about what other people think. And in the same way, they're learning that themselves. When they go to school and people say something unkind to them, they are so confident to say, do you know, this is me and I'm happy with it. So if you don't like it, that's your problem, in a really nice
Wow.
way.
Wow.
Not rude, not horrible. They're 10 and 8, Sam. And that's how I want my children to be. Not just teaching children in school, but it's
Absolutely.
about the younger generation. What are we teaching them?
Yes.
And that's why my nieces, I do the same thing with them. I bought my niece for Christmas the Barbie doll. She wanted Barbie dolls, and I got her the diverse collection. I didn't get her the standard blonde, normal Barbie.
Yeah.
I got her the diverse collection. Whether she plays with it or not, it doesn't matter. The fact is, I got that doll because I wanted her to understand that all Barbie dolls can be beautiful, whether they're in a wheelchair,
Yes.
they've got alopecia, and so that's, this is a message I'm spreading across all areas, not just at school or on my social media, but with people around me as well.
Yes. Yes. So this is a really amazing, initiative. When I was talking to Natalia, and she told me about this, diversity, even in toys, children toys, it's kind of a great initiative even among the young generation who are very young to even understand that what is good or what is bad. But then setting an example right there at that age is I would say is like empowering the entire society. So because they are going to learn, they're going to like play with a toy which is a very beautiful one or a diverse one. So they are going to learn the difference, and children are very quick to pick up things. So if they are taught something at a very young age to be polite, be humble, perfection is not everything. Despite anything in your life, you can achieve what you want. So such are the examples which we need to feed in our young generation's mind, and
Yeah,
you
we
are
do.
doing a tremendous job in this.
We do, but I'd love to see more. I'd love to see, I see so many advocates on my IG and so many amazing role models,
Hmm.
um, and they're fantastic. And you know, it's really about inspiring our younger generation, because they're the ones that are growing up right now with so many insecurities. I see it on a day-to-day basis. I see a lot of self-harm.
Hmm.
I see students who are going through isolation periods because they can't deal with a certain aspect of themselves, or they feel they look different. you
Hmm.
know they come to school with a lot of makeup on and then get told to take it off, which then strips away their confidence because they feel that they need to cover up their blemishes. We're talking about children here,
Yeah.
children, because of the images that are placed in the media of this perfection. And it really does drive me crazy. I feel so passionate about it because I see it on a day-to-day basis. I see what harm this is doing to young people, and it is damaging. It is damaging, really, really damaging, and it's worrying as well. We need more motivational talks for children in school. We need them to see their parents as role models. We need them to see their parents accepting who they are, not hiding themselves behind closed doors, not hiding themselves behind anything, just being themselves, being confident in who they are, because that's the most powerful thing that we can teach our own children. and our nieces, our nephews, you know, our grandkids. It's just, you know, even without thinking about those relationships, there's so much that we can offer people around us
Yes,
in
absolutely.
just being ourselves.
That is so true. And Jyoti, the work that you have been doing, you know, not just as a teacher, but also like now you're trying to move towards media and you know, modeling and
Yeah,
stuff. That is really amazing. Like the posters, or even something that you post, or all the people around who have got a chance to connect. I really feel inspired. It's not that, you know, I'm in awe, like, oh my God, what a wonderful person or something. I get to learn from it. It's not like I'm looking at a very picture perfect thing, like an actor or something that is way beyond my reach. I can relate to such things. I can relate to you people. Like this is something which is very natural. This is something which is very, I would say, real. I would say real stuff,
yeah,
and encouraging such things. You know, seeing this things over social media is like, you know, very enlightening, and very congratulations to you. Like a great work that you're doing, and you have created this positively diverse, you know, a page. Even you have a Facebook page. So you were telling me a little bit about it, like where you want to take it, and also you want to grow in this media, right? Not you're leaving your teacher
yeah.
profession, you'll be leaving. So tell us a little bit about that, like what you'll be doing,
Thanks,
and
Sam.
a little bit about your project that you're gonna do.
Thank you. Thanks, Sam. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, over the last 3 years, I've met so many people, collaborated with people, and learnt so much about different conditions, disabilities, and how these challenges have really impacted people's lives. And for me, it's been a whole learning curve. So, like having a visible difference myself has really enabled me to connect with people quite easily. But it's also about learning about how we can sort of pull threads from other people and then, you know, use it to empower ourselves. So, over the last year, I've been interviewing different people from different walks of life, and also just blogging about my own journey with vitiligo. And instead of my vitiligo and me, I created Positively Diverse to reflect the wide range of topics that I cover under my Instagram, which doesn't just cover skin conditions but disabilities as well, because it's all about being able to see people that look like you in society. So it's not just vitiligo for me, it's just covering a range of those disabilities that fall under that umbrella of diversity. And that's what I'm really pushing towards. There are so many people out there that are, you know, trying to achieve the same thing as me. And what I love about this is that I'm not alone. So we are all trying to work together to create the same, we've got the same drive and the same focus and the same direction. And I think that's really empowering because, you know, when you are, and this kind of relates to my one of my Instagram posts, when you are walking through this together, you're so much more united. You've got more of a voice when you're kind of together, rather than kind of doing it on your own. So I'm due to lockdown, my YouTube has been kind of held back a little bit, but I'm hoping to launch it this year, this early part, the first part of this year, with some really interesting content that is kind of very interesting, from like treatments to how people have cured their vitiligo. I have some really exciting content coming on board as well onto my platform. And yes, and my positively diverse can be reached on my Instagram and on my Facebook, and soon to be my YouTube, which is all under Positively Diverse, with the
That's
same
amazing.
goal and the same message. And my message is to be seen, be heard, and be you. That's the Positively
Wow.
Diverse logo message.
That's amazing, and I'm actually looking forward to it because I've gone to your Facebook page and Instagram. Anyways, I'm following, so I've seen your work, and it's really very impressive. It's not that, you know, there are a lot of people already doing it. You know, I too had this mindset, like, what difference is it gonna make if I also get into this? There are already a lot of people who are doing this and who are, you know, voicing out for this. But then even a single drop, you know, matters. Even a single
Really?
voice adding up to that whole crowd matters, because maybe
Yeah.
I can, you know, make it sound a little louder, even
Yeah,
by a
exactly.
point, but I can make it, you know, hear a bit louder. So
Absolutely.
I really feel amazing about this, the work that I'm doing. You know, at the end of the
This
day,
is great.
I'm not getting anything, but the satisfaction that I feel that I'm doing something for the society, even if I'm talking to you or sharing your story, somebody is listening. And there was this girl, I really would like to share her story with you. She stays in Goa, and she was really impressed by my work. I mean, the thing that I was doing, and she too was suffering from this. I mean, suffering from this. Then I actually told her, not in terms of interview, but then, if you want to talk to me, I'm anyways going to go. I'm reaching there in a couple of days, and I'll be there for a few days. So why don't we meet up, and then maybe we can talk about it or be friends,
Yeah.
or maybe I can talk you through. She told me that her parents are not supportive and they are not going to allow her. And that really hurts me. And she told me that once she becomes independent on her own, and maybe down the line 5 years or 6 years, she's going to meet me. She really wants to meet me, and she wants to talk about it and stuff, but then she's not allowed to go out. And I was like, oh my God, I mean, we live in a society even today wherein we're not getting the support from our own people, who gave us birth and who
Yeah.
are there for
Yeah.
us. Not just telling that I love my children a lot, they mean a life
Yeah.
or something, but you actually have to be there for them, not just
Yes.
tell them about it. So
Yeah.
I feel that somebody going through that situation has texted me, though she doesn't know me. I mean, she doesn't know me. She just seen my post. She just seen my work. And she's texted me something good that you are doing amazing or you're doing good. That makes me feel happy. I don't know that person. You know,
Yeah.
Getting a positive compliment from a person that even a friend, it's like they are mocking you. They're telling you like, "What are you doing? I mean, what are you gonna get out of it?" They say things like that. But then if you don't know somebody, they tell you something positive, even a line, they drop you a message saying that hey, you're doing good. That's like an achievement.
I
I
think
think
that's
that,
amazing because
yeah,
you could be the source of support for her that she hasn't got.
yes,
And, you could be that light at the end of the tunnel for her.
yes.
So I just think that's fantastic because, you're supporting and helping someone who is struggling and can't reach
And
out
I
right
really
now.
wanted to meet her, I really wanted to because
Yeah.
I saw that, a young girl at the age of 20 or something, early 20s, and she's going through this mental state, and I could understand, because being a girl, being in Indian society, I can feel that, it feels like I'm a prisoner in my own mind. I cannot do stuff that I think about, or I cannot speak about anything that, I believe in.
Yeah.
So, yes, it's very important the thing that we are doing or whatever step that we have taken. And thank you so much, I would say. And also, not just I'm just telling you this because now, right now, like I'm talking to people who have the skin condition. Now I'm thinking
Sorry,
of
Sam.
moving on to, okay, one.
I've got someone at the door.
So yeah, so I was telling you about this, initiative that I'm gonna take now. Like as I'm gonna reach Pune, I'm not just gonna meet up people with skin condition. I'm not just gonna talk to them. I'm also gonna talk to doctors, because the more I've spoken to people who have the skin conditions, the more I've heard their stories, it makes me really sad about the approach that doctors have taken. Like, especially here, they don't know about the skin condition. They have still told them about medication that even they don't know that it's going to cure the skin,
Yeah.
or that condition. So, I have got few links, through my friend who was in pharmacy, and he has given me fueling of skin specialists who are having like 20 or 25 years of experience. So I'm thinking of also taking their interviews, also taking their views, like how do they treat people, or how do they, what's their approach towards people who come up with skin condition, and what type of skin condition are contagious, what type of skin condition are not transmittable or is not gonna affect someone else. So I'm gonna take that approach as well, and I hope that also
Amazing.
goes well, because
Yeah.
it's very important, to hear it out from the doctors as well, because there are
Yes.
people who are suffering and they are dealing with them on day-to-day basis.
Yes.
So yeah, so
That's fantastic.
yeah, so I don't know
Getting
whether,
both perspectives.
yes. So I'm looking forward to it, because now I'm gonna just, maybe I'm not gonna put a video every week or something, because right now I need to go and meet them face to face first. I'm gonna have to make them agree for this interview and stuff. So
Yes.
let's see how it works. But I'm really looking
Good
forward.
luck with all of that.
Thank you so much. And again, thank you so much. Like, you came in again and share your story. And I hope that, this bond that we share, though we have not met each other, continues, and we do our bit.
Absolutely.
And I hope that we get to do something together, because I really
Absolutely,
love
Sam. It's been a real pleasure. I would love to speak to you, especially more like talking about what sort of communities and cultural differences. Like, I'd love to explore this further. So it would be lovely to stay in touch with you.
same.
And I really appreciate you sort of having me on board your project. So good luck with the rest of the interviews. And I'm sure the others are going to be amazing too. And looking forward to staying in touch with you as well.
Same here. And thank you so much again. It's really been a pleasure. Like, the more I talk to you, the more inspired I feel. So thank you so much
Thank you,
being part of
Sam.
this small initiative and campaign. And looking forward to talk to you again, Jyoti. Take care of yourself.
Thank you.
And all the best to you as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You too, Sam. Take
Take
care.
care. Take care. Bye.
Bye.